Greetings and welcome to another edition of The Great Goddess. Praise be to Goddess. Praise be to Goddess. Well, here it is another Wednesday, and for today's topic we have all the things that are more important than my weight. And of course, that includes being fat. And I think about weight a lot, and I think about how people will push you away. They push you away when they think that you're too fat, and that isn't right. It isn't right. I mean, you don't push people away because they're too skinny, so why would you push a person away for being fat? Well, people assume that you're greedy and that you eat a lot when you're fat, and it's not true. My personal experience has been that when I eat normally and eat very little, I eat less than most people do. I eat less than most people do, and I'm still fat, and I tried very hard in the past to lose weight. Very hard. I mean, extremely hard, and it wasn't good enough. I ballooned back again and gained weight with interest more than I had ever been before just by dieting. So I've figured out that losing weight is a loser's game for me. It's a losing game. It can only end one way. It can end with me being fatter than I ever was before. And so I've stopped dieting. I've stopped dieting completely, and I just eat normally, and I eat less than most people, and I stay the same weight. So a lot of doctors will condemn you. The doctors will condemn you. They'll say, you need to lose weight. You need to go on a starvation diet right now. And they think that if you're fat, you're going to die. And it's not true. If you're fat, you're not going to die. It's not going to kill you to be fat. There's other things that are more important than weight to determine whether you're going to die or not, like a history of heart disease in your family, or whether you have heart disease yourself is more important than your weight. Your weight isn't as important to determine whether you're going to die as certain other factors. So that's a myth that they promote, saying that if you're fat, you're going to die, and that for the sake of your family, you need to lose weight right now, and then you gain more weight. It's the craziest thing. You just gain more weight when you diet. It's the craziest thing ever. And it's not because you made up for all those years of dieting by eating more. No, you eat less after you diet. You never get to eat the same amount of food ever again after you've dieted, because you gain weight and then some, and you're still dieting. You're still dieting and still trying to lose weight, and you're ballooning up and up and up and up in weight, packing on the pounds. That's been my experience. Other people, genetically, they can lose weight. Genetically, they have the ability to go on a diet and lose a ton of weight, and then go back to a normal way of eating and keep it off. Not me. Not me. I have a problem with losing weight. In fact, everyone in my family is fat, so that just proves how hard it is to lose weight. So I don't think people should condemn people for being fat, because that is a genetic thing, and it's something you can't help. You can't help being fat. And because it's a genetic thing and it's a thing that you can't help, you shouldn't condemn other people for being fat. That's ludicrous, and it's wrong. It's very wrong. And the prejudice that's hoisted against fat people and the way they're treated is so awful. And I just want to say that, bless your hearts, because that is not the way that human beings should treat each other. People should treat each other with respect and love and loving kindness. And treating fat people badly is not loving kindness. And hating people for not losing weight is atrocious. It's atrocious. I don't care if it's all in your head and if you never say a word. I think it's atrocious to hate people for not losing weight, for being fat. That is atrocious, and you should stop it right now, because people who are fat can't help it. And there's plenty of us out there who can't help it, who balloon up in weight no matter what we try. So, yeah, it's the fat gene. The fat gene makes people fat, and the fat gene makes it impossible to lose weight by dieting alone and by exercise alone. Exercise has the same effect as dieting. It's the same effect. It's losing calories, and then you balloon up in weight the minute you stop doing all those exercises. You balloon up in weight. So it's something that I've thought about a long time, and I'm convinced that not only is it impossible for me to take the weight off, I've made peace with my weight. I'm at peace with my weight. I'm used to being fat, and I'm used to the way I'm treated, but I've made peace with my weight, and I'm not angry about my weight anymore, and I'm not upset about my weight anymore. I'm content being the way I am. I'm content with the way things are, and there's so many things that are more important about me than my weight, like my intelligence, my winning smile, my my emotions, my feelings, my everything in my life that I've done and everything that I plan to do is more important. It's more important than my weight. So I just wanted to say that there's so many more important things than weight in your life, and I've adopted the Venus of Willendorf as my model, because when I first saw the Venus of Willendorf, I realized that being fat isn't so bad. It's not so bad being fat. In fact, you could be revered for being fat. And that's the way it was back in the Stone Ages. Women were revered for being fat. They were revered for their weight. And it was seen as a sign of abundance and fertility to be fat, because fat women were more fertile than skinny women. And so being fat was revered in ancient times, and they saw beauty in it. They were able to find beauty in being fat, and people who say that it's not beautiful are just prejudiced, because they're narrow-minded and they have one way of looking at the world, and they've been taught to dislike fat. They've been taught from childhood that fat is ugly, and so when they see fat, they say, ooh, ugly. And some people revere fat. They think it's beautiful to be fat. And so I was able to see the beauty in the Venus of Willendorf and realize that I was created in Goddess's image. That's the image of Goddess, is a fat lady. And that is her image. That is not the summation of who she is in her entirety, but she is a fat lady. And so I'm created in her image, and I'm beautiful just the way I am. So I think that there's nothing more important than realizing that being fat is not a crime. It's not a sin. It's beautiful, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's just a natural variation on our bodies. And so that's the way being fat is. It's a natural variation of our body types, and it's normal to be fat. So that is all. Now I wanted to give you a a few pointers, a few hints and tips on your purification process, because purification is still going on right now, and I wanted to give you a few pointers and tips. So um, one tip is to drink tea. Tea is very detoxifying. In fact, it sweeps all the toxins out of your body. And there's different types of tea, and some are specific for detoxification. Some teas are specifically designed for detoxifying. And you can find those teas at the store. You can ask about them. But any tea, any tea at all is detoxifying. So if you just have a box of tea on your shelf, if you have a box of tea on your shelf, just pull it down and make yourself some tea and drink it. And it'll get rid of all the mucus. All the mucus will be flushed out of your system, and you'll be detoxified by the tea. Another tip is to avoid dairy, because dairy is mucus producing. And I know it's hard to avoid dairy when you're on a diet like this, because you have little else to eat, but because you're eating vegetarian. But you should avoid dairy because it produces mucus. And in fact, it's so mucus producing that enough dairy can even cause cancer if you eat too much dairy products. But if you're detoxifying, well, what's the alternative if you want to have your daily yogurt? Some people eat yogurt every day, and that's how they get their live cultures, the bacteria that are the beneficial good bacteria. They get it by eating yogurt. So how are you supposed to get your beneficial good bacteria? Well, what I recommend is buying a supplement. And you can buy acidophilus or L-bifidus at the store. And it comes in a bottle. And you can get one with a variety of cultures, with more than one culture in it, so that it provides a variety of cultures, so that you have not just a monoculture in your gut that can be easily decimated, but a healthy variety of bacteria. And another tip I have is to avoid 0-calorie diet soft drinks, because they kill the good bacteria in your gut. It causes diarrhea, and it makes you sick, and you don't want that. So if you're on a detoxification diet, avoid the diet sodas and diet Coke, because, well, what should you drink? Well, you should drink juice that's been diluted with water. And you take the juice and you put it in a cup and you dilute it with 2 or 3 parts water. And that way you can keep your blood sugar steady and even all across the day. And you just drink a little bit of the juice at a time, and you keep your blood sugar even Steven if you dilute it. So those are my tips for purification. Have a terrific week, everyone, and stay safe and take care.